Hi, welcome back to Crimson Glass on YouTube, and this is part 6 of writing Mad World Book 3. So when I first started this vlog series, I probably said there will be no book 4 about 1,000 times, and then about midway through August, as I was dissecting the behemoth that is that first draft, I realized, oh, there's just too much here. So the good news is that while there is going to be a book 4, I've already written the first draft for book 4. So we are okay, I guess. I can't believe sometimes how I wrote so much for that draft. It's like mind-boggling. But that leaves me with kind of like a very weird fall that I was not anticipating. I was supposed to be done with Mad World by the end of this month. Like, it was supposed to be like, bye. And now I'm looking at having to deal with it for like 3 more months. It was not the plan, but that's okay. That's okay. I finished that first draft on August 6th, and then I started rereading, and I made a bunch of notes, and then I did my first round of edits. And when I was rereading and making my first notes, I knew kind of that week I was splitting into, and I'm pretty sure that I said that at some point. So I split it into. And then I constructed the beta draft for book 3 and said, I will leave book 4 alone and just concentrate on book 3 and treat it as its own thing. So I went through and I cleaned it up. I read through most of it for typos and spell checks. You know, I did all the things you're supposed to do. And I also added a ton of new scenes. When I first started book 3, it was only 15 chapters. I ended up pulling 2 more chapters out of book 4 and moving them into book 3 because narratively it made sense with what I ended up adding. And I added about 8 chapters. So book 3 is 25 chapters. And I am now done the beta draft. And the beta draft is the new stuff. The new material has been formatted and put into chronological order with all the rest. I have made some initial changes to scenes to clean it up and push it through so that it flows with the newer stuff, hopefully. I also did make typos and inconsistencies kind of clean. I cleaned up. It's the first pass at cleaning it up, but because I had all of that new material, I knew that there was not enough. I knew that there were still more that needed to be done. So now we're moving into the final round of edits, and this is my posting / gamma draft, so to speak, where I am going to take all of the notes I've gotten from my readers. Angela gave me some great stuff, and do my final round, which is final typo checks. Actually doing a Grammarly check. The reason I don't do that on the beta draft is I know that some of these scenes are still going to change, and Grammarly takes a long time for the fixing, the copying and pasting back and forth. So I just leave that for the last round. So it's going to go in through Grammarly, and I know that there are still some pieces that need to be reworked. A couple of things that are just not working. Some inconsistencies in the narrative that need to be smoothed out. I haven't reread it yet all the way through since I finished it, and I've been doing so much work with Fool Me Twice since Saturday that my brain has completely shoved out all memory of book 3. So I'm going to go ahead and reread it this weekend to make brand new notes and then get ready to go through it. It's interesting. I guess it's just, I don't know what to say. Book 3 is what it is. The main reason I split it into 2 wasn't just length, because I think that if I had felt like it was just a matter of length, I would have split it into 2 parts, but then I would have still edited it all at once, and you guys would have just gotten it, you know, like maybe a week apart to kind of give myself a little break. For me, I definitely felt like there were 2 separate narratives. And that makes sense because when I was originally writing, and you guys know this if you've been following, when I was originally writing it and moving through, I got through the first 17 chapters and I knew something wasn't working. I knew I had to add some stuff to the beginning, and I ended up adding 15 chapters to the beginning of the story. And unsurprisingly, it's those 15 chapters that got expanded into book 3. So ironically, the 17 chapters that were the start of the story are now still the start of the story in most respects, but they're just the start of book 4. Where I wanted to start book 3 ended up being where I needed a whole book between the end of book 2 and book 3. it's kind of weird to me now going back and like just knowing what I've written in book 3 to know that that was never in the plan. It's kind of crazy, and I'm really glad I stopped and wrote. But it also presents its own kind of narrative challenges, because now I have to make sure book 4 flows. And one of the biggest changes I'm making is to the Rick storyline. It just needs to be more. And yeah, there just needs to be more for it. So I already know that book 4 is going to be longer than the 25 chapters it already is. But I don't know how long, because there's probably stuff in book 4 that can be cut and revised and just moved around. So I sat down this week to write out what I want to do in book 4. Because I was re-envisioning the Rick storyline, that I needed to figure out what the Rick storyline was going to be. And then I wanted to make sure I knew that there were other places I knew needed to be expanded, particularly Lucky and Kelsey, which you guys will understand when you get to book 4 in December. And I wanted to kind of know all of that before I went into revising book 3 for the last minute time, because I wanted to make sure that I was laying the right groundwork, so to speak. That's kind of the big thing, is just knowing what I want to do in book 4 a little bit better so that I can set it up better in book 3. My other kind of plan for this week and the next couple of days is I also want to start thinking about the structure of book 4. I want to start thinking about what those chapters are going to look like, but I'm not going to kill myself to get that done, because book 3 is obviously the priority. It's coming out on October 6th, and I am starting the beta draft round of book 4 in October. So I just kind of want to get it done, because I want to feel... It's really weird to me to not have active writing going on right now, because like this whole week I haven't done any active writing except for flash fiction. And it's weird to me to not have writing to do. So I think part of me is just like, I want to plan something. And I think it's also good just to think about book 4 while I'm writing book 3, just to make sure that things are lining up. I really don't have anything else for you guys on this subject. I think mostly just because a lot of what I would talk about with book 3 would be spoilers, and I don't really want to get into it. I will definitely do a video that is more spoiler filled after the release. I want you guys to read the story. So I'll talk more a little bit about particular challenges I had with the story. I want to talk more at length about splitting them into 2 narratives, which I can't do at the moment because it's all spoilers. So if you are waiting on book 3, it's coming. It's October 6th. We are going to meet that date because the beta draft is done. I am really excited by so much of what I've written for this entire series. I can't believe I am so close to being done with it. I'm very sad about almost being done, but I'm also incredibly relieved. I've been living with Mad World since 2004, and this particular part of Mad World I've been living with. I wrote a sample chapter when I was still living in London in 2014. I chose it as my July NaNoWriMo project in 2016, so we've all been living with it, and I am ready to move on from the summer of 2003. Except when I write Malice, which is going to be the summer of 2003, which is a sequel of Bittersweet, but that's different, right? So I'm just looking at my notes to make sure that I haven't missed anything I want to talk about. Nope, that's what we got for now. So I will check in when we get closer to the beta draft for book 4, which is in October, so I will get you there. And then, of course, like I said, I will have that video where I talk about the narratives. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.